You'll get a cameo. You're gonna bring out drinks too.
Make sure your hands not ashy.
All right.
Let me know.
Come on, Ty, no. I'll make us big niggas look good. I can't look like I'm sitting ET looking at it.
Trying to hold it up the whole time.
You're right.
Break, say time out.
Right.
You ready right now? Let me say hey to these people right quick.
Okay.
Show the phone was on.
Yeah.
He just got married, man.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Let me put this on vibrate.
Motherfucker, y'all know that was niggerish, but
No, you gotta see.
got married, man.
All right, y'all. Welcome to another edition of the Hustlepreneur Network, where we're networking with all the hustlepreneurs in the area, big and small. This one right here, I've been knowing for a long time. Actually, somebody I look up to. I got to salute all the time when I see him. It's inspiring of what he does. I'm gonna let him introduce himself real quick.
Hey, what's going on? This is Dre. And even though he's giving the gratitude, this is my young OG. And I'm here on another edition of
Hustlepreneur
Hustlepreneur.
Network. Let's do it. So, check it out. This podcast was one to give flowers to young and old, man and woman, white, black, brown, blue, to the people who are entrepreneurs, but also found that hustler spirit, or vice versa, was also hustlers and then found that entrepreneurial spirit. In my mind, my opinion, you can be a hustler, you can be an entrepreneur. When you merge those two, you in another. The thought process, the things that you see, the things that you want to do, the things you want to accomplish is in a whole other world. It's almost as if you can't sleep easily at night because you can always see something so much bigger because it's two links on you. It's not like, oh, okay, I just know how to run a business. But no, now I'm hungry. I'm always hungry. I'm always hungry as the hustler. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
So, we want to start out with the, like I always do with everybody, we want to start out with the who. Like, and my who's a little different. My who is Dre present day? Who is Dre, 16-year-old Dre? Better yet, what was your first job? Or did you ever work a job? Which lane did you come up? And again, before you answer that, the reason I'm saying that is because the one thing that me and Crank have found out is I thought everybody had the way that I came out, and that's totally false. There's people that's doing so much things, and they have so many different kind of backgrounds of what led them to be there. And that, to me, was like so dope because again, I was one track minded at one point, thinking, "Dang, if you didn't do this, you won't have this kind of mentality," and that's so wrong. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, we've known those people that had it from the jump. We know the people that got it at 32. We know the people that never ever considered having it. It just merged, and they know that's what it is. But some people come from a working background, some people come from not inherited. So give us a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, younger, of course. I came from a working background.
Okay.
And one of my influences, superstars, is my father.
Okay.
So
We get into that.
Yeah,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying, working man. So I started out working.
Okay.
And first job in Brooklyn, New York. Red Robin.
Gotcha.
Red Robin.
Well, so let me ask this, because there's a difference between people that even start working. If you start working at a certain age, either the hustler is in you or the entrepreneurial spirit is in you. Because some people just say, well, you know what, I'm gonna just get whatever I get from my parents. Or I'm good on. They just don't have nothing involved. What was
Right.
even the job at that point was based on what?
The job at that point was based on doing it on my own and showing my father that I could do it on my own.
Okay.
I wasn't one that wanted anything from him. I was trying to prove more that I was, a man and I can get it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So after that, basically, the jobs, you could be a hustler and
Within
an
the-
entrepreneur.
absolutely.
You know what I mean? But the jobs is what drove me.
Okay.
Okay, most people say or think it's money, but to be honest with you, the freedom and the time.
Let's stop real quick. He know it, I know it. Not to cut you off. That word is used almost in every single podcast. Every single thing that's unanimous with everybody that I've interviewed as or that I see in my eyes as a hustlepreneur has used the word freedom, not the word money so much. Every one of them loves money and every one of them has money, including yourself. But the freedom is what they always harp on whenever they're giving a message to somebody. So again, just for the audience, freedom, we can't preach enough, is what embodies the hustler entrepreneur. They don't necessarily, they will sacrifice some money to do what they want to do.
Exactly.
So back to
Exactly.
your 16-year-old, you
Yeah.
said the freedom at that.
Right, so 16 and moving forward, working in the blue collar field, and it was just always asking or trying to get off. The next inspiration, my kids. So I'm sure a lot of single moms or moms, married, not married, whatever, could relate to this. Is asking for the time off.
Oh yeah.
To do something with your kids. I know y'all know that whole story. Hey,
Absolutely.
the school say, hey, I gotta pick them up now. They sick. I'm big on that.
Right.
And those type of things is what kind of moved me. And you know what? It's about the time and always asking. So whether good or bad, I was great in everything I did. Any work I did, overtime. I did this. I did that, and it still wasn't enough when it came time
For freedom.
for my time or freedom or asking for
For
it.
action. So now we don't clearly understand that at 16. Not all the way.
We don't.
So that we gave that at 16 Dre. Now fast forward current Dre, we want to know, and there's a whole lot we're gonna get in between that. But there's a reason I'm doing this.
Okay.
The mind state at that point at the 16 you're saying was working because I don't want to ask.
Don't want to ask, and I had a great father that I wanted to prove something
Prove
to.
something. So right, boom. The adult Dre. How much did that steer away from that? How much what did we improve? What did we upgrade from that Dre to this Dre?
The adult Dre had 3, 4, 5 jobs because I was just hungry.
That's going on my next thing.
So to be honest with you, the adult Dre, after working so much and realizing my money wasn't working for me, I was working for the money. You have to let some. I'm not saying all, and you got to take baby steps, but you got to let some of this money work for you.
So, give me this. I'm going to ask because you kind of perfectly led me right where I was going next. And you said, we talked about 16, but clearly we went a gap between that. So, what was your biggest or longest, or even if there's more than one, because like you said, you had multiple jobs. So, give us a few of your careers that you had, or jobs, they weren't careers at the time, prior to actually considering yourself free man, and so to speak, as a hustlepreneur terms, meaning I'm doing now on things creating on my own terms. What were some of your careers or adventures or life experiences prior to that
I would say
that we could talk about?
that we could talk about was, believe it or not, I've done a lot of things, and prior to going into that hustlepreneur state,
It's good because the reason I'm saying that is because this me and you talk regularly. So
Right, right.
in the mind state of me and you talking, I already know it's in your brain. This is for the 17-year-old. So and just a background. Me and Crane came up with this, or at least in one of my eyes. I bought a book that was wrote in 1991. The only thing I can think about is, damn, he's still making money from 1991. You see what I'm saying? That's all that came to my mind. So I wrote a book. You see what I'm saying? So now we do a podcast. We're like, oh, this will be around. Video will be around. Content will be around for 40, 50, 60, forever. Thank you very much, Ashley.
Thank you very much,
Harp
Ashley.
on that, what just happened too. This is where
Okay.
we are.
This
Just right quick.
So-
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead.
what the drinks talking about?
Yeah, that,
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, the premise of that, like I was saying, was we wanted to leave some content. So when you're coming back talking about what you're doing right now, it's for the 19-year-olds, maybe for the 13-year-olds, maybe for the 17. That's like, yo,
Okay.
how am I catching? How do I get? Because here's the thing. Another thing we all talk about. The mountain. See, when people look at Dre, they look at the mountain and say, oh, the mountain's obtainable. I could do what Dre, I could dress like Dre, I could do that. Nah, they didn't see you up there, goat. When you look at the mountain, a goat,
didn't see
there's a
the
lot
climb.
of goat. They didn't see it climb. There's
see
a
the
lot of goats up there. You only see that one. But
Right.
with the goats up there, he sees 100 goats.
Right.
Now, you got to figure out how did these goats get up here. You can't just keep looking at the mountain and saying, oh, that's easy. I'm just looking at a 10-foot jump. I can just dunk it. Everybody else dunking it. Nah, these people worked on that. They crabbed. They did all of
And
this
that's,
stuff.
that's going into today's world,
Exactly. So what happens is the people that I'm interviewing, they're kind of at the top of the, and even them still wanting to be higher because they see higher goals. They see
Yeah.
other. So what it is, even when
Keeps going.
it keeps going. But even the mountain or the plateau they're at is where I'm reaching to them. So they're saying, yo, when I look at them, I look at the people around them, and I notice, and it's the same thing happened to me. Younger people automatically think they can do immediately what you can do. Not that there was no steps. They immediately say, all I can do is this. I mean, it's immediately. I'm gonna dress like him, I'm gonna look like him, I'm gonna buy this, do
Right.
that. I can go buy a building, I can do that. Yeah, you can. You can fail
Yeah.
immediately too if you have no substance.
But something you said, I mean, you can, you know what I mean? Don't get discouraged, but part of failing is part of success.
This is correct.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So in between that, they just have to work and grind. You can't believe everything that's on social media.
So give us one of your careers.
One of my
Just
careers?
one that you could remember, and I want one that was you were really happy with, and then one that broke the camel's back. One you were like, oh shit, nah, you know what? I don't give a damn what's going on out here. Give us one of those. Give us two of those.
Okay, one that I was happy with was I was working for orthotics place that makes casts for kids and stuff like that, braces, and it was a couple that
Did you
ran
graduate college?
Didn't graduate
Okay,
college
I'm
for
asking that because now when you walking in through the doors of the 80s and 90s of the job world,
Right, yeah.
it's a lot difficult because they were looking for a paper.
They were looking for the
so you have
paper.
to be skilled in something, everything you did.
These people trusted me to assist them, work with them, work around the kids and everything like that. So that's the one that I love, and I actually, after 30 years later, one have passed, one I still stay in contact with the lady.
What was it that you loved about that? What was the energy? What gave you? Was there any kind of freedom in it? Was it because of the people in it? Was it pay
Working
grade?
with the kids and just being introduced to a new thing in my life. I was young and didn't know so many kids needed help walking and stuff like
How
that.
old
So
were
it
you?
was oh man, that was about 17,
Okay.
18. I was in high school.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So
And that stuck out with you, huh?
still to this day. And
crazy.
they always checked up on me through my life and everything to this day. One that broke.
One was where you say, okay, yo, this working shit just ain't it. It ain't it, yo. I gave it all the shot I got. You know what I'm saying?
One that broke the back, but was a learning experience. It was both. Was the military.
Talk to us.
The military.
Talk to us.
So
So,
the
you were enrolled in the military.
I was
So
enrolled.
you damn near did every blue collar trade known to damn man, huh?
Active duty, U.S. Army, and
Important because I bring that up because not once on this journey of where you were working have we heard a gap of you saying I gave up. That also brings an entrepreneurial spirit. That also brings a hustler spirit because okay, listen, if I ain't got a degree, I got to keep shooting for things that match my pay style, my lifestyle,
Right.
and everything else. So that hustler turns into I'm gonna get the best jobs, out here because I know I'm what's catering to me.
Right,
So that
right,
brought
right.
that there. So
yeah, so that stuck out to me, and why it stuck out to me was it wasn't a problem for me, but it was also another goal. I was
how old
actually
did you when you enlisted?
when I enlisted, I was about 20, probably about 20. Right
So-
after
so-
I left that job, I went right into the
Walk,
military.
walk us through that because it's hard right now, and I say it's hard for me, and I'm speaking from a personal point of view. Because clearly millions of people have enlisted.
Right.
Walk me through the mindset of voluntarily saying, "Let's get it. I'm going to the military." Where does that go?
Well, I think it's that hustle spirit. Because today, back then, it was opposite for me. I was really like, I'm gonna pay off these college loans, and I'm gonna get back at my dad. I'm out. You know.
Right.
So, my thing was, hey, I'm gonna get back at you, but I'm handling my business as well. So I'm getting out the house and leaving. You know.
You want to
You know.
keep rolling?
We're good?
Always to be edited, so go.
So that was one of my things.
Say getting out the house to the dad. So so when you was in the military, how long did that last?
5 years.
5 years.
5 years.
So you telling me the straw broke the back, and you said, what was it? It was too much of the.
No, it was.
So it seemed like there would be freedom.
It was fine, like everything else. It's always politics. It's not the military itself. And one guy stuck out to me, just like anything else. Most people look for the nice boss. The guy that wasn't, or just he wasn't nice to me. He was miserable with his self. So he took it out
On you.
on me and several
others.
others all the time. Till, like anything else, I learned to adapt to my environment. So we were okay, but it was just that at that time is where like, wow, this guy
That's really testing us. And you're young at the time.
Yeah, but young. So
Did you go? How did that work? You finish your term out, or
finish the term out?
just said I'm not coming back?
Finish the term out. Hey, I'm a disabled vet.
All right, say no more. I understand that.
Yeah,
So now we at almost 30 Dre, and we just left all the structure we've ever known, but we've always got a chip to prove something. We've always been hustling. We have at this point, from the story we've been told, we haven't quite figured out the organization of entrepreneur world. What step did we go there? This is a scary world. This is a scary world. I'm imagining late 90s, mid 90s. It's a scary world because everything is moving at a different pace.
Right.
So and again, what we can tell, what we can say in a vast way, where do we? Because there's another question I'm gonna lead to, but I do want to say right there, when somebody's watching, they might have went through the same thing. They have been to the military. They may have they might be scared to leave based on not knowing what that transition was. They may not have. They might be like, "Yo, I heard that as soon as you leave, you can't. People be slaying on the streets. They homeless. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a fear because it's true. You know people that left and done the same thing and didn't turn out as well.
Yeah.
And so it's a true statement to say, "Damn, you know what? And again, I want you to walk that through because again, me and you talking is not the same as what I'm also trying to make sure that we leaving off the people.
Well, key thing is preparation, and you can't be scared to step out on faith. So preparation is key. And you know what? You got to run through 10 jobs, to get the right one. You know what? And each job is a learning skill to the hustle. Anything you do or any job that I've encountered, I always figured out a hustle. And I say that to everybody that's working. If there's overtime, there's an extra sale somewhere or whatever, I was chasing it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I mean, my work experience with Crank was I was at a dealership. Now, prior to that, I hadn't worked a job ever. That's why I say, it's so interesting for me because I really never did come from a job. Like my job was like from 16 to 22, one of those like, yo, I got this so I can supply the other things that I'm also doing. My hustle animal was always like, oh, okay, well this is gonna get you extras. I ain't gotta worry about that. But the working experience, like you just said, the hustle part of me didn't allow me to ever do what the entire room would do. Like, okay, so if everybody's cold with 10, I'm doing 20. And you know how I'm gonna do 20? I'm gonna have the best CSI, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have these, I'm gonna have all the stuff that nobody was doing, all the cleanup, all the dirty work. This is what the hustle part of it was about. The entrepreneur was like, oh, okay, this is the kind of money I know I can make. But the hustler was like, well, I gotta get all the chips. You see what I'm saying? So, what did you from out the military? Did you entrepreneurial spirit immediately, or did you go back to jobs for a second? What was right there?
I definitely went back to jobs, and I was working a lot, working 2-3 jobs, working overtime, getting what I needed to get, and then that's where, like I said, came about. Like, wow, you know what? I could save all the money in the world, and Big said it best: more money, more problems. But you know what? More money, more things you buy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We got a segment coming up that we definitely, I know you're gonna be able to help us out with. So when you work, when was the click of saying, what was the? I know we talked about the hated one was the military, but what transitioned you from working to entrepreneur? Because see, for me, when I think about it, I feel like I've always known. I don't know if it was. I can't remember when I wasn't including me, but after I interviewed people, I realized some people said, "Yo, it was this right here. I learned how to do this, and this showed me to say I could take my own step to actually control my own actual thing that's saying ran by me."
Right.
Was there a job experience that taught you that, or did you just freedom?
It was all together the jobs. It's like the military. I didn't hate it itself. Like I said, particular supervisors, which is everywhere, but after working so much, 20 hours a day, going home, sleeping 4 or 5, whatever, the little things started, whether it was the jobs, mutual funds, this, that, I started putting money in things to work for me, then I started meeting people. Those jobs that you encounter, or if you don't, people you're around, they always say, you know what I mean? Your network is your net worth.
That's my favorite saying.
So I started meeting people. That's why I tell my daughters and everything. The worst job, you can meet the best person in your life.
Man.
So those jobs led me to people that put me on, that seen me. Trust me, everybody has, just like this age now, we're open to a therapist. Everybody as a mentor.
Absolutely.
So do I. You know what I mean? So they led me around the people that I needed to be. If you don't do or have the experiences and you're just going from home to Instagram, you're not gonna meet the people you need to be around.
Absolutely.
Who will help you to get where you need to be. You know what I mean? So
Networking is so important.
Very.
I reach out to certain people only based on the network. When I do meet people and people be like, damn, how you get to directly know them? I don't even it doesn't even hit me that like, damn, they way up here. You know what I mean? I just like them. I knew I came up when I was coming up. They mentored me, inspired me, and I never really felt that I don't always come out with a hand on a regular basis. So when people recognize it, they'll say, okay, if he's actually calling, he's not really gonna, he's really gonna juggle it on his own. So if he's calling, let me just give it a shot. So, and that was what my network has always been, to say, okay, whatever bridge I come through at this point, we're gonna walk this bridge together. We're gonna mend this bridge. We may not stay on this bridge forever, but it'll never been burnt. It'll never been broken. Next time I gotta walk back through here, it's easy enough to say, yo, got my ticket again, baby. You remember me? Okay, cool. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I would just agree, the network is super, super important. Freedom, network is some of these things you hear regularly hustlepreneurs talk about, because it is survival mode. It is not so much because we, as a hustlepreneur, you don't always believe or know that it's going to be a winning situation. At what point? You don't know what point it will be. Now you come in and believe it will. You have no time of that day. And it can hit you just like a stock, it can hit really high real quick and then pew, go right back down. So it's one of those things where if you done network right, if you told somebody to kiss your ass at the wrong time, man, when it went back down, it's gonna go back down quick. You know what I'm saying? So what was your first entrepreneurial experience?
my first entrepreneurial experience was vending machines.
Talk to them.
Vending machines.
I had candy machines.
So same here. I had them all around. To be honest with you, Charlotte.
Yep, me too.
You know, and unfortunately, no one knew they were mine, but I actually got them while on another job, bumping into somebody in an eye clinic,
Crazy.
and he had a foundation. Say, hey, I got a bunch of vending machines next door. I'll let them go for the low to you. I'll put them all around Charlotte, and I'll tell you, people, quarters add up. Those things are hollering.
Man, he ain't lying.
Quarters add up. And most of my vending, and most people ate candy at the doctor's offices.
Crazy, ain't that something? Ain't that something? That's a double whammy to get some money.
You're right.
It's so funny to share that story, because like this is when you know you kind of like you in a it's like looking at the five rings. They always interlap. So okay, yeah, we might not have walked the same exact path, but the spirit was there, because I did the same exact thing. Like, oh, okay, I remember I had, and this was not coming from a job. This was coming from, just keep on stumbling across opportunities of saying, let me try this. We had, I had, I think 15 machines, paid a dude to actually place the machines, which at this point I figured out I could have done myself, but that was another part of his hustle.
Right.
I'll show you how to do this for $300-400.
And I placed it myself.
And I'm like, I'm in the car with you. I'm like, hold on. He telling me to hold on while he going. I'm like, you could have just, but I respected it. That's what part of learning is. I would never ever do it again, because I know, and not only that, I would actually charge somebody to do it now that I know the hustle. You know what I'm saying? I assume the hustle, saying, I'll do this for you because I know what you got to do. Now you just got to knock on doors, be willing to ask somebody.
That's it.
So the hustle, the candy machine, for me, what was gave me so much pride, and let me give you my ups and downs on it. So much pride on it was to say, yeah, man, I got, X amount of money, going to do, because it does. You talking about, realistically, if you got 15 machines, these machines doing $150, shoot, that's, and you, at a young 20s to under 30 age, you're making what anybody is going to work to make, and not, if not more, and you're actually doing it at own time. Now there's responsibilities. You got to get the machine, you got to get the candy, you got to do this, you got to check make sure that they're broken. Which comes to my downfall was being invested in too many different things, forgetting about machines. Dudes that moved out of buildings, dude that broken a machine. I ended up having about 8 machines left that was salvageable, but it was a lesson to learn. Oh, okay, this is entrepreneur. You gotta hustle in you, but now you gotta learn the business, or you're gonna just be getting taken out of. You know what I'm saying?
Everything's a liability. So just as long as you
Insurance, you know what I'm saying? Like these are things that I had. The thing about what I want to always show for I thought it was for younger generation, but it also applies to older generation. Is a lot of us know the hustle. A lot of us got a spirit where we'll go out and find a business, but a lot of us don't do the behind the scenes stuff. Create LLCs, get EIN numbers, create business plans, put the stuff on paper. that is what my course, even when I'm doing my course, Hustlepreneur coaching course, is so much about literally ABC stuff, not really intricate stuff that you couldn't Google. It's just stuff that you may overlook because you don't even know how to ask Google.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like if you don't,
It's that gym work.
Yeah.
It's that gym work. It's that. I struggle with that too.
yeah, you don't know even what to ask Google. You have no idea what the, so there is some, but again, it's not to say that somebody that already is out there don't have more money than me. It's people out there got car wash businesses, food trucks, and they make a great business, but they ain't even put an EIN out. They ain't got an LLC. They ain't get their name registered, trademark. You see what I'm saying? Like, so these are the things that actually take you to a dynamic level as a hustlepreneur.
You can't prove your income.
You can't prove. You still trying to tell you I ain't messing with no percent. Nah, because they lay the game out here, and really they ain't even hiding the game. This is how crazy it is about playing the game the way that it's laid out. They don't hide nothing.
Right.
They give it and say, this is how you're going to be successful. Just do this.
Yeah.
And we keep bucking that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm only speaking to a certain amount.
Right, a certain amount.
But I mean,
and it's laid out more since this whole pandemic.
I mean, unfold because there's so many people keep breaking and saying, oh no, I can do that because of this. I mean, we watch the biggest people in the world do certain things and we say, oh, he's doing something wrong. No, not by the law.
Right.
He hadn't. No, what you doing is wrong because you abiding the law and doing twice of what they saying to do. Right. 3 times. You going in debt based on that.
And that's that person that'll sit there and watch 10 people and say they're doing it wrong.
Or criticize them saying, oh, that was
they didn't
wrong.
move yet.
Morally, or again, so for me in a capitalistic America, dog, you're going to be on this menu or you're going to eat. I mean, there ain't really no other way around it. Like, so all the time, I can't always say you're going to always be the winner, but you better make sure that you standing tall because it's always big dog, little dog. Always. And I can't always say you're going to always be the big dog, but you better know when you are the little dog and bark and keep it moving. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So the candy machines, did that last long, or was that just a stepping stone? What was it not enough money? What did that teach you?
That taught me more with the vending machines. It actually faded. It didn't even. It just faded itself because we went from gumballs to sodas to this to that to today. It's credit cards.
Right.
You know, back then it was just turn it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it got more innovative, and like you said, I stepped and went on to the next. So as it went on, I just let it fade out itself. Did great, saved a lot of that money from the machines on my kids' savings. You know, people used to laugh.
No.
I used to bring the change, and this is before where we had the machines. You know, we had to roll them up.
Absolutely. Little brown joint.
I was the guy rolling them up, and they was laughing.
That is important to hear that because the hustler doesn't really go home and consider what somebody thinks is funny about them. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's not to be funny at all. Not to say that I went home many a nights doing some things that people might be like, yeah, I can't believe he was out all night. Or, I can't believe he did this. And I'm like, yo, you getting ready to wake up at 7 forcibly. I'm getting ready to chill real quick. You know what I'm saying? So, not to say that anything I've done has been easy, because that lifestyle, the hustlepreneur lifestyle, is not an easy one. Again, it's about what your freedom occurs to you. Like, how do you feel free? And again, it ain't to say that you ain't gonna never work. You watch Monopoly, you're gonna go around, you're gonna go to jail. This game of life has been planned out. It's big, and if you ain't paying attention, you're just gonna be haphazardly doing it. Now, if you're focused in doing it, you can kind of watch certain stuff that you may or may not make or don't want to make, or you know, and you can kind of watch the game and see what the game is laid out in America. Now, I can't speak nowhere else at this particular time, but I'm speaking about the United States of America. You know what I'm saying? There's a certain format that they put out there for you to actually succeed at being a hustlepreneur. You know what I'm saying? You can be successful at everything. Let's be clear. If working is the only thing that you're concerned on doing, this is not a knock. This is only speaking to, like Raekwon said, this is built for Cuban links only. You know what I'm saying? So, 1 minute left? Okay. So,
I'll stop.
Stop right there. Yeah.
Yo, you good?
So, all right, we talked about different working experience, moved on to entrepreneurial spirit, seeing your baby as your entrepreneurial spirit. I'm gonna get into a few things a little bit heavier coming fast forward right now. But before I get there, what was, when did you realize you had to blend those two worlds of saying, damn, I know I'm a hustler, I know I'm a hard worker, you know, I gotta figure out how to, you know, when did that thing hit you like a ton of bricks and saying, I gotta use these powers to good for me? Because you've been using those powers for the military, you're using those powers for the trade,
Right.
you're using those powers for the ortho spot you said you was doing.
Yeah.
When did you say, I'm going to use these powers for Dre? Like, I got these superpowers, I've been giving these superpowers to all these people all this time. Now, when I put all these superpowers into me, when did that hit you? Did that come in the 20s, did that come in your 30s? Did that just hit you a few years ago?
Right. No, that came in my late 30s. It came in my late 30s, and that's when I realized my money wasn't moving. You could save all the money in the world,
But it's still the same.
and it just stays the same.
10,000 was 10,000 10 years ago. As it is right now. It ain't no. That's actually even worse at this particular time of day.
Yeah, it is. You know what I mean? So my money wasn't moving, and fast forwarding, got into real estate. You know,
So,
and that was it. You know, started reading, looking.
did somebody pull you in? How did you hear about it? Was it inspiration? What now? Again, just to say that. I remember you told me that your dad, as much as it sounded as you were saying, the chip was to be great or be better or to show that you could be, but he also sounds as if he gave you influence as far as how to be sound, or at least to say, man, you got to at least do this. Now, was there anybody in your 30s that said, all right, yo, this is inspiring entrepreneur-wise? Did you find somebody, or did you start reading different books? Did you start going to different courses? What did you just wake up one day? Did you hear an infomercial? What changed?
Right. I started doing some courses, and you know, just reading and looking. But the most, like I said, my money wasn't moving. Everything was self-taught. I'm gonna be honest. As far as real estate and everything else, it's basically I went looking at properties and this and that, and what I could afford, what I could do with my money. Because hey, as they say, sometimes it's hard to get people to join you. It's better to show them, and then they'll join you.
Absolutely.
You know, so I just went on my own and started purchasing properties now.
It's gonna cost
So
some more
flips.
to join though.
Yeah. When they don't believe,
You know, as Fat Joe said, you know.
the price is going. Yesterday's price is not today's price. And to be fair, it's your dream. So it's really not anything wrong with somebody saying,
No,
I cannot fully be into your dream because I have something. You see what I'm saying? Because I've learned that so much.
I always tell people, someone's not gonna feel your passion on what you want to do. You know, they'll see it after.
And you can hire them independently
Yeah.
for what they were good at, because you know, or I know, I'm not the best at the entire spectrum.
Right.
I need somebody to do some paperwork. I need somebody to do some artwork.
Definitely.
I need somebody to do, but I know what I know where I'm Jordan at.
Right.
I know where I'm Jordan at. I know where I'm Pippen at. I know where I'm Rodman at. I know where I'm Phil Jackson at.
Right.
I know every time one thing about to be an entrepreneur is you have to gladly know how to play every one of those roles. What made, I use the Bulls analogy so much, what made him so good is Kerr. I mean, we see the outlash now, you know, of what the behind the scene was, but when you're watching Magic at the time, a magician, you don't know what goes on behind the magic scene. You're looking at Magic, and when we're looking at it in the prime, didn't nobody seem to care how to win.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Phil didn't need to care how to win. Kerr didn't care. People coming off the bench didn't care. They knew the end result was winning. All them people, when they left, Steve Kerr was probably around that time the Michael Jordan of shooting. You see what I'm saying? Like, and he wasn't the Michael Jordan, but like, you know, we talking about hitting game-winning shots. He's up there. Now look what he is now. He's an award-winning coach currently. You see what I'm saying? Like that stems to let you know, okay, if you play your role long enough, you're gonna also bring some greatness to what you start doing as you become mature, as you start, you know, evolving. So that right there was my analogy for that was just based on letting people know when you hustle or when you're an entrepreneur that it's not always about being just Jordan all the time. You know you're Jordan mentally, you're Jordan, but in certain roles you're okay with playing Horace Grant. You're okay with being whoever it is you got to be so that the people can actually.
And that's fast forward to where I'm at now. You know what I mean? We're big on, hey, you know what? Not everybody got to be the shiny rims on the car. Mm-hmm. We need somebody behind the wheel. We need somebody to be the transmission. Mm-hmm. We need somebody to be the engine. So we're very big on, you know, team effort. Most people say it, and it's very cliche. Where I'm at today, you know, with my partners and everything with the business where we're currently at. Hey, you know, check out No Breeze Premium.
Absolutely, no, we're gonna give it time for all of that too. We're gonna do all that. I promise you. We're gonna give all your businesses and all that. But here's what's leading to this. You're saying the real estate is what brought you into the spirit of saying, damn, I gotta use all my superpowers for Dre because one, like I said, I didn't go to school for real estate, which that could have been out, which you would have been working for somebody, which you probably thought of.
Right.
Two, you said I got an X amount of money that's viable for me to play with that won't deter my entire lifestyle, and I know how to work hard. If I have to work hard, I just go back to working hard. I've already been doing that. It ain't like you're gonna send me lower to where I'm at.
No.
So here comes one of our biggest questions that we like to ask people. We call it the fumble of the bag. Every hustlepreneur, every entrepreneur, when they get that first bag, and here's this, because a lot of times we're not inherited money. So when you inherited millions and stuff, it's not even so much fumbling. You just, but so when you worked hard for it and you got to, if you never had a 10,000, you got 10,000. Oh man, the stuff you buy, the stuff that's in your, the gold-plated toothbrushes that you thought you needed, and you know what I'm saying. Then when you get to your first 30,000, you get to your first 50,000, first 100,000. So now, out of the 4 or 5 we talked to, I think maybe one girl said she didn't fumble. She said she ran that touchdown straight on in. She got that joint and was like, oh yeah, bang, 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 never fell down. I said, yo, we had to salute her. She told us how she did it and respected it. Were you like that? Or did you drop that ball a few times, Emmitt Smith? How that work?
Yeah, I dropped the ball. I dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Back then we ain't had social media, so you really don't, even though we don't post our posts, but you didn't know. The thing is to always keep cool, look cool, like you ain't bust a sweat.
So now, and again, it's so important because, again, me and you speaking, we both know that fumbling the bag is nothing wrong with that because it's like a stock, bro. You got to go down. And what you do is hopefully if you took the thing thoroughly, you don't go all the way back to A. You go somewhere in the middle, MNOP somewhere, and you got to start from there. And it's tough there, but it's not like something from A. For the people, for the 15-year-old, for the 55-year-old, for whoever that says, yo, I'm discouraged, dog. I put 3-4 years in this, and man, my first year and a half, I did something decent. Now I don't know what's going on. I haven't done this. It's discouraging. I've been discouraged. I've done a million different businesses. I've been discouraged. I've been full. I've been satisfied. I've been, these things. The fumble the bag part, how do you get back on the horse?
Man, let me tell you something.
You cry first. We do.
Yeah.
It happens, bro. You go in that dark room and you cry. I'm being honest with you. I've done it for sure.
You cry, you come out of that thing with tunnel vision, hungrier than before. So let me tell you something, fumble in the bag, let me tell you something, that's what makes you more successful, believe it or not. I think so personally, because you got blinders on. You one way. Now, what you're going after, that's the hunger you needed the first time. You know what I mean? So
it's like I compare it to the Mario Brothers, Super Mario Brothers game for all my viewers in the 80s and 90s. When when you lose at a certain level, you just go back to the middle point of the game. You don't keep going all the way to the beginning. You know what I'm saying? So you've played to a level and say, oh, I know exactly how to get here every single time. I don't always have to.
You know what the mistake is.
Exactly. I just stir through. So in hindsight, you may go back to A, but you blow to MNOP so quick because you knew what it was where you stumped. Now you may not know exactly how to get to Z successfully, but you're still gonna keep pushing. But you don't have to go all the way back to A and stay at A to B and to C every single time. You can blow past when you
and you'll be more careful when you get into Z.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Now, like I said, you fumbled that bag and took that gut punch. You know what I mean? So you definitely be careful. It makes you more hungry.
So the answer we heard was just it's mind state. You got to get out there. You got to shake it off. Because the fact of the matter is, shaking it off is so much easier said than it actually is being done. Shaking something off, shaking a loss off, shaking somebody misappropriating your money, the business going down, something that you didn't foresee, a COVID. These are things so hard to say, easily to say to shake off. But the fact of the matter is, it don't get no simpler than that. Shake it off. There's no, I can't cut it. I can't sugarcoat it. I can't. I'm telling you from a man who go in the dark corner sometime when the business don't work and it's hard and you don't want to wake up, especially if you got family. You like, man, I can't even sleep. You got to, man, those 3 words, shake it off, is about the simplest, but as deep as it can really get because
You got to find what motivates you. Everybody got something that really, really pushes them. And, mine are my daughters. You know what I mean? So
Now-
that's all I think about if I go into that state. Like, I got to bounce back. You know what I mean?
which you brung up your daughter, which segments me to goals. We talked to a few people. Some people said they written their goals down. Some people say they don't. Some people got different goals: spiritual goals, mental goals, financial goals. What were goals that you set beginning entrepreneur world? What are goals that are set current day, 3 to 5 year kind of goals? did they differentiate from the first Candy Machine business goal? Did you write goals at that time? When did you start writing goals? Do you even write goals?
To be honest with you, then the thought comes into my head 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm sitting on my stoop. Ain't right? It might be puffing on a cigar. Back then I didn't write goals as much. Today they're more of a thought, and now we put them in our phone.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Absolutely,
so,
absolutely.
yeah, back the first, I didn't write goals. Today, a lot of the goals has changed. You know, one I'm very proud of if we, get to that.
Absolutely, we get there. What current day? Is there anything that? What do you see the Dre experience 5 years? Can you see that far?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
I would say that shorter than 5. Next 2, I'll be me and my partner be opening up another business, and we're shooting actually to Houston. So it'll be
Opening up one in Houston.
yeah.
Okay.
Open up another no wreath in Houston. So that's actually our 2-year goal.
Okay.
And personally, as far as the real estate, that's doing good. I'm waiting for that to come down a little bit.
Right,
now.
right. It's tough right now.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, so another goal,
Now, how do you see yourself impacting community? Do you see yourself impacting community? Do you see you passing the torch to another generation? How do you see yourself doing that? Or how do you see your business doing that?
well, definitely. Well, we work with the community a lot, all races, all pretty much chambers of commerce, all ethnic groups. The young guys in here that I hate to say work for us, but because we're all a team, but they're young bulls, man. You know what I mean? Especially DC Devin, who's part of the team. They're young bulls, and I see passing it to them. Most people do say they're kids and all, and I do. I got daughters, and they especially my oldest one, as hungry as I am, and actually following some of my leads. You know what I mean? So. Passing the torch, to these guys that actually are dedicated. That's the thing. It's hard to find dedicated people, and someone that sees the vision that doesn't always want to be the lead singer. That's the hardest part. You know what I mean?
So, all right. So we heard of many sides of Dre, but it's kind of like Tommy. Nobody really knows exactly what exactly Dre does. Now, mind you, I've been knowing the man for a good amount of years. You feel me? And because I come from a hustler, entrepreneur spirit, I know the answer is whatever it takes. There is no answer. You see what I'm saying? But for the people to have something sound, can you give us a few businesses that you currently, not the ones that we already did, but currently up under the Dre experiences? Because I know there's many of them. I know personally because I know you personally, and to anybody that ever ask me, yo, what do we do? There's certain people you just don't have an answer for that question. It's not even being funny. It's like, yo, that's what I'm saying about Mark. I know you got to know Mark because he's one of those Tommies. I'm one of those Tommies. Like, yo, what do they do? I have no idea what they actually do. So what?
Well, let me give it at that. A lot of mutual funds, and a lot of mutual funds
Okay,
and stocks.
absolutely. Bro, well, let's not skip over that because this is important for the entrepreneur to know. Mutual funds and stocks meaning that money is now making money for me. The biggest complaint that we heard throughout the entire podcast was you was frustrated with your money not making money for you.
Yeah.
To be comfortable, to be free, may not mean that you need to do a lot of stuff. That Tommy aspect is not a thing where it always needs to be looked at as a negative thing. We never seen Tommy out on his own. Kicked out. Tommy had a car. Tommy dressed exclusive. Tommy had all the baddest women. If Tommy's only downfall was nobody couldn't figure out his job, we all experienced Tommy wrong. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, I didn't want to rush over stocks and mutual funds because I have both of those. And it took me till after my 30s to realize, damn, this money right here, every year, if it ain't gonna do nothing else, I guarantee it's gonna make $2,000 bare minimum. Like, that ain't even nothing to reach for, but I'm just telling you, bare minimum, because the way the market works, this is going to at least do this amount of money a year.
That's a sure thing.
Period. It's
Any
a sure
business
bet.
class you go to,
It's
I
a
tell
sure
anybody,
bet the stock is going to do that if you invest it. You know what I'm saying?
The bank makes you no money.
None
Unless you just
whatsoever.
want to look at it and that's a rainy day fund, that's fine. But because you need a rainy day fund. But other than that, yeah, stocks, mutual funds, real estate. Of course, again, which we missed, been in the mental health field, you know.
These are all current. We're talking about current.
Yeah, all
Okay.
current, you know.
So
As you
stocks,
as
bonds,
we-
mutual, and I want to prove a point. Stocks, bonds, mutual. You said real estate. You said the health field. And what else we got?
Yeah, the investments with the barbershop,
Barbershop,
see,
clothing line.
clothing line,
I'll be in NY. Feel what I'm saying? So
Right.
we had six.
the rap game.
You see what I'm saying? Music, entertainment. So we had 6 or 7 different things that.
Real Jamaican.
There you go. I've been said he was super West Indian. You feel me?
I am.
So you know. But again, the whole theory of saying something funny about that is more or less about talking about how many times that you know the money's got to be made before you have to do any touching, before you have to go outside, before you have to physically do a whole lot of labor, which is some of the things that you already did. You know what I'm saying? So that type of thing is one of those things that we always harp on. Now, before we wrap it up, we definitely want to get 2 things. We usually ask everybody for their gem. If they learn nothing else from you in this world, you know what I'm saying? What is something that you're going to give out to somebody that they can take away from this experience, from you, and say, yo, you ain't never learned nothing else. This is what I got to give.
If you never learned anything else, it's to never give up. Stay focused and don't believe the hype. That's it.
I respect that. Before we end it out, you got any IGs or Facebook anything you want to leave out here, or websites, something we can drop out for the people?
Definitely. IG for the apparel. IB New York. I_BE_NY. Personal, hit me at Dre 347. Got www.ibnewyork.com. You can check out nogrease.com and see all 14 stores. But don't forget in Charlotte, here the new location, No Grease Premium, that has a full bar, nails, manicure. It's a barber spa.
All right, well, you heard it, man. You seen the Big Hustlepreneur Network, one of my personal inspirations, a goat to me in my eyes. I've seen him do a whole lot of things. We appreciate y'all listening, watching another edition of Hustlepreneur Network. Catch y'all another time. Peace.
Peace.